Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and this is a yarn chat video. Man, I wish there was some way where I could still get more of my new stuff up in the background for you. But anyway, I've got a pile of stuff here that I want to talk about, and I'll give you a rough outline. I'm going to talk about some hats that I made or am making. Also, this is a full craft video for you. All the crafting that I do all in one. I'm going to talk a little bit of diamond dots. I know. I'm almost even a little embarrassed to say that. And then also sticker hoarding. Depending on how long this video is, I might also bring up a book I finished. But if this seems to be getting past like the 15-20 mark, because according to YouTube analytics, most of my viewers don't watch past 15 minutes. I will then make another video, but if the time seems to be going well, I'll put it in. Okay, so the first thing is the first crochet project that I was asked to make was a baby hat. One of my coworkers, I'm trying to set my notes here so I can see them. Just a second, I'm back here. Okay, one of my coworkers just had a baby, and I had made her a blanket using Bernat Blanket Cover Story. I can look to link in the description the video where I talked about completing that. And then a little while later, after the baby was born, she sent me a picture of a hat and said, "This is our favorite hat. Can you make us one?" And so I tried my best, but I didn't have a pattern. I also was unclear what type of yarn it was. She said it was similar to the yarn that I used in the blanket, which I think is part of the reason why she asked if I would make it. After I'm done showing you the ones I made, I'll insert a clip of the picture that she sent me and then my first attempt. Now, it looked like it was Bernat Blanket yarn, but from what I could tell, it seemed really small. Certainly wasn't Bernat Blanket Extra. So I went through and tried multiple types of Bernat Blanket yarn, and if you could see this side of my office, you would see why. I've got a hat attempt number 2, a pile of Bernat Blanket yarn out, and so I made her one hat, and I gave it to her, and she said it was too big. Now, her baby is a few weeks old and was small to begin with. Barely 6 pounds, I think, because she also she's a small gal. So I felt terrible about that, but then went back to the drawing board and I made, I wish I could figure out which one of these, 2 more hats. So I'm thinking this one has to be closer to a baby. It looks like this one's a little bigger. So these are the 2 that I came up with. I'm gonna try to bring them to school for her. Well, she's not at school yet. She's obviously on maternity leave, but her mom also works at her school. So I'm going to put these on her desk and ask her to bring them. And then I feel like, honestly, I don't want to say give up, but it's April here. So I don't know that the child needs to have such woolly hats. But I mean, this is what I settled on. I started with a single crochet at the top. It was a round of 6, and then my next round was 2 in each for 12. And then my next round was 1 single crochet in a stitch and 2 in the next stitch, 1, 2 all the way around. And then I started doing, and this was like the hat she showed in the picture, these 2 double crochets, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets and 1 skip a stitch. I tried to grow it for 2 rounds and then stayed consistent for a couple, and then I did the brim. And then I did the same thing for this hat, but somehow I do think one of them looks bigger than the other. Again, I just used Bernat Blanket yarn. I actually got this skein at Walmart for $9.98. The others I had been hoarding up for a while. I'm gonna insert the picture of the hat she sent me, maybe 2 pictures of it. And then the first hat that I made that was way too big, that was 8 inches across, and then this one is 6. Now you may ask, Summer, why didn't you just look up a pattern? Well, I did type it in a couple searches. Bernat Blanket yarn, newborn hat. I couldn't find anything that I liked that didn't already have ears or that looked like the picture she sent me. And I was trying to do like what she sent me. Okay, so here will be the pictures of the hat. She sent me my white hat, and then I think I might have a third of that blue hat all laid out, maybe even with measuring tapes. Okay, so those were the hats. I really didn't spend too much time. I think she messaged me like on a Thursday or a Friday. I made the white hat on a weekend. And then these two hats I made yesterday. So the other hat that I had been working on, I got this yarn at my Joann's as they were closing out. It wasn't too great of a closeout sale. They never got below 25% off on yarn. But this is Big Twist Jelly Bean. It's kind of a tealish aqua with some red, orange, and yellow. It's super cute. I started knitting a hat. I'm hoping I'm not going to drop my stuff on the floor. This is what the hat is looking like. It's really nice. It's a good variegated. I'm interested in seeing what it would look like knit hat or crocheted, but this is the knitted hat. I'm making this one a little bigger, not necessarily for a second grader. Those ones obviously need to be a little smaller. I haven't even started on my second grade hats for next year. So those are the hats I've been working on. So obviously I had a craft night with some teacher friends. They all came over, and that was in spring break. So that was at the end of March, and that's when I started that hat. And then this is the second week of April. So that's when I started doing these little baby hats. But in between that time, during spring break, Flynn moved out of the crafts. So I have like, I don't want to say like a banquet table because it's not that long, but it's like a fold-up table, one you would see like at a craft show with a tablecloth on it. And on one side of the desk was my laptop, and then the other was Flynn's. And then the other, my husband has a little desk of his own, well, bigger desk, but anyway, and that he with Brandon, Flinners, me. And for a while that was doing really good, and it was nice to kind of keep an eye on what he was doing on the computer. But I was getting very annoyed at his nerd raging in regards to video games. And it just was getting a lot. And in my mind, I was always wanting that empty space next to my computer to do diamond dots. Because when Flynn was in the hospital, I got a diamond dots. I wonder if you guys can see it if I turn my camera there. Yeah, see that right there? They had given me that. And I really liked doing it. I was surprised because I'd been very reluctant to do diamond dots because I felt like, I guess I just felt like I didn't need to get involved in one more craft. And then Maddie and I got one after that, and we did that during Christmas break. And then I bought one that I started, and when we first moved into the crafts, I had on that empty space. Well, then Flynn got that empty space, and I put it away. So to make a long story short, during spring break, we moved Flynn downstairs, and I got to set up my diamond dots. So that is what I've been really working on in between starting that knitted hat and making these little baby hats. I was working on this. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Starry Night, of course, just like Minnie, is one of my favorite paintings of all times. And I think I must have gotten this at Joann a couple of years ago. And like many of you know, our Joann's are going out of business. So I was actually able to get this frame for 40% off. Now, they had nothing that fit the dimensions of this diamond dots, which I think was 11 by 20. And I think they just had 11 by 24, or it was 16 by 20. I don't remember. I'm not great with numbers. So I do have these little strips on the side. I've debated getting some dark scrapbooking paper and put it down on the sides there. But I did want to frame it right away so that the little diamonds weren't falling off. And man, it was really fun. I did have a casualty in the tree, but you can't even tell. And that was, I mixed up two symbols. So partway through, I realized I was using the wrong bead for the symbol. And so then I just was like, whatever, and I just switched. And so I think it looks so beautiful, and I'm so excited, and I love it. I mean, to be fair, I started it a Christmas over a year ago. But then once I really got down to it and I got to be able to set up my spot, I got to finish it. The frame, like I said, was pretty reasonable because a good amount of things at Joann's, it was up to 60%. And so yarn was, all the good things that I wanted, honestly, were still 20 to 25% off. But the frames, and that's just a random cheap frame. I think, I put the receipt away, but I don't think it cost much more than $10 or $15 after the discount. But then while I was there, I got a new Diamond Dots. It's not Diamond Dots brand. Again, these were only 25% off. So I didn't want to go crazy and get a nice real big one like that. Like that one was $44, but I had a gift card when I bought it. And so I didn't feel terrible about it. This one, I didn't have any Joann's gift cards and there was only 25% off. I want to say this was regular price, $19.99. Is it exactly as beautiful as I would hope? No, but what they had left by when I went to get this, which I want to say is a week ago, they had a Harry Potter one. They had a Spider-Man one. They did have a barn with some flowers, but that one was $26.99, and so it was more expensive. And they didn't really have a lot that inspired me. I am a basic, like, obviously I would have done another Van Gogh if they had anything like that. But I like flowers, butterflies, you know, pretty sceneries. Because once you make these, what else would you do other than hang them up? And I don't need a Harry Potter picture hanging up or a Spider-Man. So this is what I ended up getting. And I haven't started it yet because then I got onto this whole hat situation. Yeah, so that is the side craft that I was doing in between all those hats, which kind of, I mean, it is really addicting. Be very careful if you get started into the Diamond Dots. I don't know what it is. It's, I think it's a mindless craft you can do if you're kind of having a hectic life for a bit. And I'm not trying to like do a pity party, but you know, it's the end of the school year. It's standardized testing. Maddie's in a musical. You know, my son just got a new job. I mean, all these things are going, and it's just so nice to be able to come home and just sit there and be like, you know, like do something repetitive, relaxing, mindless. I didn't have to count my stitches. I didn't have to try to read a pattern. I just had to look for the little E's and put a little sticker on it. So that was really, it was really relaxing. And so, I mean, if, you know, maybe that's something, if you have a hectic life and you just want something relaxing, that you'll have something beautiful afterwards, you know, I would then, but if you're addicted to crafts, be wary. That one is very addictive. Okay, now the next thing I have is my PipSticks. This is my sticker hoarding portion of the video. I am not a representative of PipSticks. I do not get these for free. I don't have an affiliate link. I just like to hoard up stickers. This is the Petite Sticker of the Month Club, and I believe it is $9. And it is the kid version. Now they have a kid version where the stickers are very kid specific. And then they have grown up, which I use that loosely because it's really not, it's just, you know, ones, they had a craft one, flowers, all things like that. This one, it gets, first you get this like little brochure, whoop, don't fall, that tells you what the theme is, has something to do with s'mores and campfire, I'm guessing. And then they have a coloring page or activity pages. And then here's the coloring page, which is Camp Out. I like to collect these up and give them to kids in my classroom. They have like a little drawing thing. And then of course there is a letter from the curator of this collection. And so it says her favorite dessert is s'mores and making s'mores around the campfire, singing songs, looking at the stars. So that is the theme of this. I do think it's a little early for us. April. April is hardly a camping month. For us, we're not a camping family. I did have to do a number of Boy Scout camps with my younger boys, with Jaron, more Jaron than Flynn. because Flynn started having those health issues, and then it wasn't as easy to go. But a couple family trips where someone we knew camped, and then we brought a tent. And Maddie and I are not made for camping, for sure, hands down. The boys like it, but I don't want to make the financial investment because camping isn't cheap. Buying campers is expensive. Pop-up campers, renting camp spots, all the riffraff you need, packing it all up. Okay, so here are the camping. Just drop that on the floor. Camping themed stickers. They always have a puffy sticker page, and these are marshmallows. And look how cute that little fire guy is. Then they also have in here, I'm trying to get it out, is, this is wild, is a smelly sticker page. I thought for sure this would be marshmallows and chocolate, but it's not. It's peanut butter and jelly. Not that I don't love peanut butter and jelly, but, well, it spells more of jelly than it does peanut butter. But peanut butter and jelly, so they have a scratch and sniff page, which is actually a really good deal, because a couple years ago I went to a teacher store. You know, it was like school bus. Teachers go there, you get bulletin board and decorations and supplies you need for your classroom. And they had a rack of smelly stickers, and they were expensive. I want to say it was like $6.99 for a pack of 2 or 3 pages. And this whole sticker of the month thing is $9, and I get all these others. So anyway, here is, they always have these like little skinnies, and here are some leaves. Cute. And I think I have another little skinny coming here. Yep. These are cats or raccoons or foxes camping. Then this also seems wild for this theme. Some monkeys, which are super cute, but we got some monkeys. And oh, these are rock wall or wall climbing monkeys. That's cute. And then here are some people. They look like they're in sleeping bags, but the sleeping bags look like mushrooms, or like a blanket with a hooded blanket, and they look like mushrooms. That's kind of cute. I think my daughter might like these ones. And then here's a camping themed page of stickers. That's cute. And then they also include a postcard. I actually really like this one. Yeah, I think this is a Yeti or a Sasquatch. Interestingly enough, one time one of my little nuggets gave me a water bottle sticker of a Sasquatch knitting. And he said it reminded him of me. And I'm like, I sure hope it's because it's knitting and not because I look like a Sasquatch. But I have that on my Nalgene bottle, or whatever they call it these days. It's not Nalgene, Hydro Flask. Nalgene were the bottles that we had when I was in high school, like in the 90s. Now it's Hydro Flasks. So that is my sticker of the month club. I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up for this video. We had a little knit, a little crochet. I'll see if I can find that cover story. I did make a baby blanket with one big round of that Bernat cover story. It was on sale at my Walmart. And I made a video about it because I actually didn't believe it would make an actual baby blanket, because I always feel like crochet uses up a lot more yarn. And other than that, that is it for this yarn chat. I'm going to wait a little while before I get started on my next diamond dot. And I don't know what I'm going to do other than finish that hat. I do need to get started on another project. All right, thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my video. Until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.